you're new here, my name is Crystal, also known as the Book Gypsy, and today I'm going to be doing my Christmas book haul. This is my last book haul of this year, of 2018, and I am just swimming in books. A lot of these books are books that I did buy myself from gift cards, some extra cash that I had from the holidays. I spent a lot of money on books this month. Not full price because there were so many sales going on, and there are a couple of gifts thrown in here as well. So I'm gonna go through them in no particular order because I have stacks of books that I didn't even realize I bought all of these this month. It's so crazy. I felt like December was such a short month, but like, when did I buy all these books? So let's just get into the book haul. The first book that I'm going to go with, which I don't remember how I found out about this book, but I did order it on Book Depository because it is not in the US. And that is The Witch Who Courted Death, and that is by Maria Lewis. I heard really great things about this book, and I'm so curious to see what it really is about. I know it is about a witch. I'll read you the back of the book for a little bit of a synopsis. After a horrific incident in her home city of Berlin, Casper is consumed with vengeance towards an enemy she doesn't understand, which I love the name Casper, that's really cute. The only other person ever to escape the dreaded mysterious Acht was a witch, and so Casper is soon on her trail, but this witch does not want to be found. Diving headfirst into the supernaturally secretive world of spells, charms, and covens, it's not long before Casper is crossing more than just one line between the living and the dead. Here, reinventing witches and ghosts with a much-needed feminist twist. This is an unmissable new read from one of the most exciting voices in fantasy. So I'm really curious to see what this book is about, and I'm probably going to move it up on my TBR list since not too many people are reading this book, so I want to get this book out there, and I want this book read, and I want more people to be interested in it. Next up is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I got this as a bargain buy at Barnes & Noble for $6.98. I do own this on ebook. I've read this book 2 times. It is super intense. It's a thriller, it's sci-fi, it's supernatural, it's like all things in one. I really loved this book so much. Blake Crouch was like my favorite author for like a whole year after reading this book. I do have to say though, some of his other works aren't as good as this. I don't really recommend them. But if you're looking for a really fast-paced sci-fi thriller, this book is amazing. If you have not read it already, I remember there being a lot of buzz about this book in the past. So I don't know if a lot of people have read it, but I really, really enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to revisiting it. And I'm so happy I bought a copy, and it's a hardback copy, which is really nice too. Next bargain buy I got is Karin Slaughter, and it is The Kept Woman. I don't really know much about this book, except that it does have deckled edges, which is my favorite. But I really enjoyed The Good Daughter and Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter, so I'm looking forward to reading a lot more books by her, especially for the Whodunit-a-thon. I'm thinking about including one of her books in my TBR. She's just a great writer, and like her work is very dark. I want to say she's like the Stephen King of mystery thriller books, but if you're like very sensitive to heavy subjects and like violence, then please pass up her books because they are very triggering for people that do suffer from like domestic violence and rape and all that stuff. So it's definitely, Karin Slaughter touches upon like hard subjects, but her writing is so good and her stories are so, so good. It's like Lifetime times 10. Book that I bought is The Trespasser by Tanya French, which I still have never read anything by Tanya French, but my good friend Carol has read a lot of her books. And I got this for a good price, $6.98, so I couldn't pass it up. So I'm looking forward to diving into some Tanya French. I'm going to be including one of those in my TBR for the Whodunit-a-thon. Next book I have is Dry by Neal Shusterman and his son Jared Shusterman. I can't talk today. Too much talking over the weekend with family and friends. It's too much. Dry by Neal Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. This is a signed edition, which I'm so happy that I got. It's like a double sign. It's really, really nice. You can see it in there. So this book is basically about a California, almost like an apocalyptic dystopian type situation where they run out of water. And it's basically the run for survival, I want to say. I don't really know much about it, and like I said, like all my books, I'm really bad at explaining what books are about before I read them. But I do know that it just has to do with, you know, California running out of drinking water and basically people trying to survive. 2 books I have here are my book of the month picks, and that is The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton and No Exit by Taylor Adams. No Exit is a mystery thriller, and The Clockmaker's Daughter is a historical fiction, which is kind of out of my box of reading, but I've heard really good things about it. I know it is very slow paced, so I'm maybe gonna read this in February. We'll see. But No Exit sounds like a really cool, fast-paced murder, mystery, thriller novel type thing. So it says in the back here, 13 hours, 4 strangers, 1 missing child, no exit. She knows her odds, she'll fight anyway. Hello, gotta read this. So I'm moving this up on my TBR, maybe for the whodunit-a-thon, we'll see. The next book I received was a gift from a customer of mine who shares love of books along with me, and we have such great conversations about books, about reading, about writing, and it's just wonderful. So for Christmas, she gave me a Barnes & Noble gift card, and she gave me Times Convert by Deborah Harkness, which I do own the rest of her books, The Discovery of Witches and Shadow of Night and The Book of Life. I do own them. I paused Shadow of Night like halfway through, so I have to get back into it. I do enjoy it. It's just super slow paced. It's a little like Outlander-ish, but better, but it's just a little slower paced for me, and I just wasn't in the mood for it, but I'm really looking forward to picking it up because it has to do with everything that I love. I love history. I love things about witches. I love family lineage. I love time travel. I love it all. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into this series, and this just came out this year. It's a signed edition. It's a signed edition, and I'm just so thankful for the people that I have in my life that buy me books because it's just so nice. The book I have here is another book by Tanya French, and then that is In the Woods. This is one of the Dublin Murder Squad books, I want to say, and I think the other one? The Trespasser, I think that one is as well. I really don't know much about it. I'm so late in the game to these books. And they're pretty like heavy duty for mystery thrillers. So I'm interested to see like what I'm going to like and dislike about these books. If I'm gonna like them as much as most people do. I mean, the Goodreads reviews for these books are like pretty high, so I'm really curious to see if I'm going to be into them or not. So I'm hoping to read a couple of these in January. The next book that I had picked up is Beartown by Fredrik Backman, and I picked this up because I feel like everyone on BookTube has read this book for the most part. A lot of my friends have read it, and I just feel like it would be a great winter read because it is about hockey. There's ice and snow and trees on the cover of this book, so I'm really looking forward to picking this up. I know it is a hard-hitting contemporary book about a hockey team, and there's a rape, and it's just how the townspeople deal with these things. So I'm really looking forward to reading this book, and if it does tear me apart, okay, I think I'm in need of a good cry anyway. But I'm looking forward to reading something from Fredrik Backman. I've never read anything from Fredrik Backman before, so I'm curious to see if I'm going to like his books. The next book that I picked up is The Lies We Told by Camilla Way, and this book is another mystery thriller book that has been on my TBR list for some time. It's not quite as big as some of the other ones, but I am very much looking forward to getting to this book this coming year in 2019. I'm hoping to get to this in January or February, and I don't want to know too much about it, so I'm not even going to read the back. I know that it has gotten amazing reviews on Goodreads. A lot of my friends that have read it loved it, so I'm very much looking forward to getting to this at some point soon. The next book that I had picked up is an older book, but it's kind of resurfacing at the moment, and that is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. And this is, I'm not sure. This is a historical fiction, I believe, or literary fiction. It says here, sometimes when you open the door to the past, what you confront is your destiny. I don't know if this has time travel in it or something. It's, I'll read the back for you. Reclusive author Vida Winter, famous for her collection of 12 enchanting stories, has spent the past 6 decades penning a series of alternate lives for herself. Now old and ailing, she is ready to reveal the truth about her extraordinary existence and the violent and tragic past she has kept secret for so long. Calling on Margaret Lee, a young biographer troubled by her own painful history, Vida dissenters life she meant to bury for good. Margaret is mesmerized by the author's tale of gothic strangeness featuring the beautiful and willful Isabel, the feral twins Adeline and Emmeline, a ghost, a governess, a topiary garden, and a devastating fire. Together, Margaret and Vida confront the ghosts that have haunted them while becoming finally transformed by the truth themselves. Yeah, I still don't know what this book is about, but it has gotten so much praise over the years, and like I said before, it is resurfacing the internet and coming back around, and people are reading her work. I want to say she just came out with another book this year, so I'm wondering if that's the reason for the buzz, but I want to read it, and I love the cover. Like, look at these old books on the cover. It's beautiful. It's so nice. So I'm looking forward to reading this, hopefully sometime soon. I have a lot of books here that I need to read. The next book I have here is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, and this is a Hugo Award winner, 2016. It is a dystopian, sci-fi, end-of-the-world book, and I'm just excited to read it. I haven't read a book like this since reading The Stand, and I'm just curious to see what it's about. It is a series. It is a well-loved series. People talk about this book all the time. I think people that have read multiple genres of books really love this book. I am looking forward to reading it myself. The next up I have here, The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, and this is a well-loved fantasy series. I actually purchased this for Julie at Pages and Pens for Christmas, and in the hopes of a buddy read in the future of this book, because it is really big and I don't want to read it alone. And if you too want to get into this fantasy world with us, let us know if you are interested in a buddy read sometime in February or March. That would be excellent, and I'm just excited to dive into this world of fantasy. I want to know. I love books that have unique magic systems and worlds, and I feel like this book is going to definitely surprise me and probably be one of my favorite series. Next book that I have here, and my collection of his books are slowly growing, is The Fireman by Joe Hill. I recently finished Nosferatu by Joe Hill for Christmas. I read it in the month of December, and it is easily my favorite book of the year. It was such a unique story. It was so different than anything I ever read. It was a Christmas story for horror fans, and I just loved the characters in that book so much. I love Joe's writing. The ending was amazing, so I'm looking forward into getting into his other books. I've never read anything else by Joe Hill, and I am so impressed by him. Nosferatu was an excellent book, so The Fireman has to be just as good. So I'm very curious to see what this book is about. I know it has to do with some type of epidemic where people are dying off, similar to his father's book, The Stand, and I'm curious to see like his take on, you know, the end of the world type of book. If you are interested in reading this book too, I will actually include it on the Constantly Reading page on Goodreads in a separate section where we could buddy read this and discuss it together at our leisure. So if you are interested in something like that, please let me know down below. Next book that I have here is Wake of Vultures by Lila Bowen. This is a Western supernatural sci-fi vomit book. It's just a bunch of genres all mixed into one, and I'm very curious to see if I'm going to like it. There was so much buzz about this book when it first came out. I'm curious to see if it'll live up to the hype that it has received in the past. So if you have read this book, please let me know down below if it was as good as everyone says it is. And another book that I purchased is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have never read anything by Donna Tartt before, and I would love to read her books. This is another book that is resurfacing the internet and resurfacing BookTube, Goodreads, Twitter, all of that. It is a book about a secret society, college students, history, a whole bunch of things that I enjoy all wrapped into one, and I want to see what it's about. It seems pretty intense. So I know that Donna Tartt's books are very intense and everyone loves her books, so I'm curious to see if I'm gonna love it as well. I have here The Spellbook of Katrina Van Tassel, and this is by Alyssa Palumbo. This is a story of Sleepy Hollow. It is based on Katrina and her spell book, and it is a love story per se. It has some supernatural elements to it because it is about the myth of Sleepy Hollow, so I'm curious to see what this book is about, and it was a total cover buy for me. I felt like it would be the perfect book to read in winter when I purchased it, so that's pretty much why I picked it up. And it has spell book in the title, so yeah, total cover buy. But I'm curious to see how this book is. The ratings on Goodreads actually aren't that bad for it, so I definitely will check it out. And lastly, A Bad Deal for the Whole Galaxy by Alex White. I loved A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe this year, and I am so excited to continue on with the series and find out more about my beloved characters in the first book and see what other adventure awaits them. So if you have not read A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe, please read it and pick up the second book in the series. It just came out this month and I'm so excited. So that is it. That is all I have for you today. That was my book haul for this month, my last book haul of 2018. And if you are interested in joining Carol Marie Reads and I in our readathon for January, starting January 13th, it is the Whodunit-a-thon. It is a 2-week readathon where we are going to be reading a slew of mystery thriller books, and I will be posting my TBR video fairly soon for that. But if you would like to join us, please check out our videos down below. I will leave links to Carol Marie's YouTube channel down below as well. And yeah, so thank you for watching. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday season, and I want to wish you all a happy new year. Bring on 2019. On that note, I will be talking to you guys soon.